Alright, what's up YouTube? Today I'm gonna do another YouTube video. This one's gonna be about Sex Talk episode 11. High-end dating versus low-end dating. We're gonna talk about men who have high expectations that get attacked by people in the dating world regarding the sex and dating, and people who decide to do the low-end dating who have low expectations. So we're going to talk about what's the difference between high-end dating and low-end dating, and what are the difference between the two. Now, high-end dating is where you're a person that graduates from high school and college and you're destined for greatness. Whether it's to be rich and famous, whether it's to have your own business, whether it's to break into sports, music, television and film, wherever your dream and your goals may be. And every man, and I mean every man, 90% of us want to date super hot, attractive ass women that you see in the movies, television shows, actresses, supermodels, fitness models, cheerleaders. You want to date those types of women. And you see, with the right job, or should I say with the right career, you can date those type of women. And you see, every so often when you get a black man or a Latino man that decides to date outside his race, both races of men, black and Latino, usually get attacked very harshly just because they have high expectations of themselves. Like when you was in high school and college, you got told by 80% of the women, if you're too short, if you're fat, if you're out of shape, you can't step up to me. Talk to me when you get a house. Talk to me when you get a job. Talk to me when you get a car. And these are the men who always had to put in the hard work and the dedication to graduate from one level to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And it's like that rap song that Kanye West came out with about 10 or 11 years ago. Wait until I get my money right. Can't nobody tell me nothing. And when you have high expectations for yourself, you want the best of the best. You want nothing but the best of the best. And when people be trying to tell you who to date, who to fall in love with, who to have sex with, these are what we call player haters. Or as Ringo TV on Raw would adequately put it, crabs in the barrel mentality. A group of individuals that are jealous, that don't ever want to see you succeed. They don't want you to be destined for greatness. And you see a lot of times when you try to get into the dating game and you try to date beautiful, attractive women that are sevens, eights, nines, and tens, you usually get a case of sabotage. What's the difference between self-sabotage and sabotage? Self-sabotage is where you don't have confidence in yourself. You don't believe in yourself. You don't think you deserve to be at a great place. So you try to find any way you can to destroy your opportunities because you don't think you belong in a special great place. You believe you're in the middle or at the bottom, and you don't think you should be at the top. So you try to screw your own self because you don't believe you'd be there. So that's self-sabotage. Sabotage is what it sounds like. You get a group of individuals, males and females, men and women, young and old, black and white, who sabotage you. For an example, you might be in college or you might have a job, and there might be this woman that's from the age of 18 to 29 years old that's very beautiful and attractive. She's got big breasts, she got a big ass, she's got a nice athletic body, and both of you have something in common. You have something of interest. And from out of nowhere, you get a woman that's in her late 30s, mid 40s, and for whatever reason, she decides to sabotage you because she don't think you deserve a beautiful, attractive woman. Usually you get these women that are 200 pounds, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, fat and out of shape, overweight, women that are old enough to be your mother and grandmother that sabotage you as a man. And they do it intentionally on purpose. And the way that an older woman kills your opportunities with young, attractive women from the ages of 18 to 29 years of age is they expose all of your weaknesses as a man. Oh, this man don't have no car. He shouldn't be trying to take you out to lunch and dinner. And the woman from the age of 18 to 29 would be like, yeah, the older lady that's in her 30s and 40s and 50s is absolutely right. What are you doing asking me out to lunch and dinner? So now you get rejected because the older woman that's in her 30s, 40s, and 50s have brought to the younger women's attention that this man, whether he's in his 20s or 30s, he ain't got a house of his own. He don't have an apartment. He don't have a car. He may have a job, but he doesn't make enough money. So, yeah. So now you face sabotage. And the same women that's in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s start to come after you once you get very successful. You look at someone like 50 Cent for an example, right? That's a guy that came from absolutely nowhere. He was broke. He was poor. The economics were terrible for him in New York City. He was selling cocaine, drugs. And when he became a rapper and he became rich and famous, he became a multi-millionaire 10 times over. All of a sudden, he's in movies, he's in television shows, TV talk shows, he's in commercials. All of a sudden, he writes 3 books. All of a sudden, he becomes a writer, a producer, a businessman. You know, tags team with Floyd Mayweather Jr. before their business partnership fall apart. Gets into business, gets into boxing and entertainment, and even signs some talent. Has a television show of his own. Perhaps you have heard of it, Power. Anyway, he meets a woman named Vivica A. Fox, you know, a talented model slash actress. And he dates her for about a year and a half. And at that point, she was in her 40s and he was like barely into his 30s. And then after dating her for about 2 or 3 years, you know, he broke up with her and started messing with Sierra. And she got upset because he was dating a much younger black woman. And 50 Cent felt like, well, since I'm rich and famous, I should date up, not down. And for the last 10 or 11 years, Vivica A. Fox has chased, harassed, and stalked 50 Cent, whose real name is Curtis Jackson. And that's a perfect example of sabotage. She goes in the media, she goes in the magazine, she goes on radio, she goes on the internet, and she tries to ruin his reputation. She tries to stifle and kill his legacy because he don't want to date no black woman that's in her 50s. And you can't blame 50 Cent. You know, when 50 Cent couldn't get the women that he wanted to get in the beginning, you know, 50 Cent had to resort to low-end dating, aka date down. High-end dating is dating up. You know, another perfect example of that would be George Clooney. That's why I always use George Clooney in a lot of my prime examples. If you go back to when George Clooney was in his 20s and early 30s, when he was an actor in television and film, he dated all types of women. And it wasn't until he got into his late 30s and his 40s and his 50s when he became a multi-millionaire 10 times over that he started to date some of the best looking, high quality, sexually attractive women on the planet. And a lot of people call George Clooney an asshole because every time a woman approaches 31, 32, 33, you notice he break up with them and get with another girl that's 23, 24, 25. Because George Clooney knows his worth. He has high expectations of himself. He's not going to be foolish enough to date someone that's below his standards when he's making millions of dollars. Once you make that kind of money, can't nobody tell you who to fall in love with, who to have sex with. You know, they can't tell you that no more because you make way too much money to be told what to do. Now, that's when you're at the top. And these guys don't want to date no woman that's from high school or college 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, or 25 or 30 years ago. Because now you're just dating women that's past their prime. Now you're just getting damaged goods. Now you're just getting women that remind you of your failures when you was in high school, when you was in college, or when you had a dead-end job. You don't want to be reminded of that when you become successful. When you become successful, you want to be recognized for excellence and execution, like Bret Hart, the professional wrestler. Like when Bret Hart said, excellence and execution. Oh, the best there is, the best there is, the best there have, and the best there ever will be. That's what you want to be remembered for. Not when you get a girl saying, remember when you was trying to mac to me in high school? All they bring back is terrible memories. Or if you were in college, a girl goes, remember when you was trying to get my phone number in college? All that does is just remind you how you used to fail with women. You don't want to be reminded of that when you become successful. Now, what is low-end dating? Low-end dating is where economically you're not able to compete at a high competitive level. You have no choice but to mess with women that are 200 pounds, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, and in some sad extreme circumstances, 500 pounds. You have to date women that's old enough to be your mother or grandmother. You have to date and have sex with women, unfortunately, that's in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, and their 60s, because economically, if you're not making enough money and you cannot afford a house and you cannot afford to get from the bus and the train to a car, then economically you have to date down. So you do what they call low-end dating, meaning I tried to date the supermodels, the fitness models, the booty models, the cheerleaders, the actresses in television and film. Hell, I try to get the news lady's phone number and I can't get them type of women. Well, economically, you don't have the money. And I'm making this YouTube video because I have a friend whose name is Zach Deloney, who makes YouTube videos all the time, and he has a bit of some problems, and I decided, you know what, if I'm going to make a YouTube video for him, I might as well make a video for men who may be in the same predicament and may want some answers for their questions. If you are struggling with paying rent with your apartment and you got an ex-girlfriend or a current girlfriend who keeps whining, complaining about you need to have better standards for yourself and you need to get I want to move into an apartment and have a family, and economically you cannot afford it, you're in a situation what we like to call low-end dating. And you see, this is where guys get viciously and harshly attacked by everyone, men, women, the media, society. They go, you got low expectations. You ever ask yourself why a guy who's physically good looking, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster, he's athletic, he's handsome looking, he's good looking, but for some reason he's dating a woman that's low class? He's dating a girl who is ghetto and ratchet. Well, a lot of times it's because economically he doesn't make enough money. He's not getting enough job opportunities, economic opportunities. He's not getting a chance to realize his full potential. So he's in a situation where it's going to take him about maybe 10 to 15 years, might even take him 20 years to get from low-end dating to high-end dating. That's when people go, man, why are you messing with a woman that's 200 pounds, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, 500 pounds? Because economically, he's not able to get his money to the level where he can date the type of women he wants to date. Same thing if someone say, man, why are you messing with a woman that's old enough to be your mother or grandmother? You're messing with women that's in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, because economically that man does not make enough money. And same thing if he's messing with ghetto girls, or if he's messing with the golf girl or a punk rock chick. Again, that's low-end dating. Now, there are some qualities, there's some good qualities, and there are some benefits to dating low. A lot of times, you might see a rich guy go to a McDonald's, a Burger King, or a Taco Bell, and he might hit on a waitress. He might hit on a girl that works at McDonald's or Burger King, versus he tries to date the Queen of England or the Princess of England. Two people have egos, they're going to clash. So that's why you see a lot of the businessmen in the business world, franchise owners and general managers of the NBA, the NFL, you usually see those guys date down. That's better known as low end dating. The reason why these rich millionaires and billionaires date women that's middle class and low class is because that's their comfort level. Whereas someone that's really rich and famous, like a billionaire, someone that's like Donald Trump, they're going to date nothing but the best of the best. George Clooney, going to date nothing but the best of the best. Now, when you have the money, you date supermodels, you date fitness models, you go after cheerleaders, you go date actresses in television and film, you hook up with the news lady. That's what you do when you become a multi-millionaire 10 times over, a billionaire 10 times over. Sometimes it's not good to go up. Sometimes it's not good to date up. Sometimes when you get attacked for high expectations, they make it sound like you're an asshole, you're a jerk. And you see women want the best of the best, and you always see women have high expectations, right? And nobody criticizes women for it. But when men do it, they get thrown under the bus, they get attacked harshly. Your expectations is too high as a man. When a man gets into his financial prime, not physical prime, not, playing basketball, football, and going to the gym prime, but your financial prime. Like you got money for insurance, you got money for real estate, you got money for a house or apartment. I'm talking about financial prime. You get to have high expectations. You get to date women that you see in the movies and the television shows. When you're broke or you're barely getting by, you're able to afford what you can afford. It goes back to what Tom Leykis said here on YouTube. When you keep getting approached and harassed and stalked and chased, and you will in the very beginning of your development of self-improvement, you will get harassed by women that's in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. You will get chased and stalked by women that's 200 pounds, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, 500 pounds, because that is low-end dating. You will get some ghetto girls. You will get some women that are, I don't want to say mentally ill, but you'll get some women that are declared crazy, but they look good for they look somewhat attractive, but they're a little crazy. You're going to get that. Even if you say, I don't want to date no nerd, you're going to get nerdy girls. And some of you guys might go, well, I want Scarlett Johansson, or I want Beyonce or Tyra Banks, or I want Rihanna. I'm just trying to tell you what you think about in your head when these situations come up. Now, there is a thing called the rule of the exception. There is something in the middle that can help you. Now, we always hear about high-end dating, which is dating up, low-end dating, which is dating down. But there is something in the middle that's called the middle ground, middle dating, where you have what they call the best of both worlds. 1 minute, you're going on a blind date with a 300-pound woman or 400 or 500-pound woman, and then the next minute, you're with a supermodel that's from Russia. That's called the best of both worlds. Now, for the guys who are trying to get from the top to the bottom, to see what it feels like. Now, the guys who are dating women that are considered low class, they usually have the most fun. And the reason why they have the most fun is because it's just easy for them to lower their expectations. If you hang around people with low expectations, you have low expectations. If you always hang around people that all they do is mess with fat women, and I'm not saying this will happen to you, but this might happen to your best friend in high school. This might have happened to your best friend in college or at work. He's going to want to mess around with plus size women, period. And no matter how hard you try to change his views on the world and on sex and dating, you're going to find out it's impossible. It's like what Morpheus said in The Matrix. There are some people who don't want to come out of the Matrix. There are some people who do not want to be saved from the Matrix. And once the mind gets too old, it is hard for the mind to accept reality. I'm not trying to be like the Midtowns and the red pill and all that other shit. What I'm trying to say is, if you hang around people with low expectations, you'll have low expectations. If you hang around people with high expectations, you'll have high expectations of yourself. This translates to sex and dating. If you hang around guys that all they do is talk to supermodels, you're going to want supermodels. You're going to want fitness models. You're going to want actresses, cheerleaders, the news lady, the Queen of England. And if you hang around guys that all they do is mess with golf girls, and I've made videos about golf girls, trust me, it's better to be with golf girls than to be with someone you don't want to be with. You know, there's the emo punk chick who likes rock music. You know, there's them, the girls that love rock and roll. There's girls that ride the skateboards, the girls that surf. There's girls that play sports. So there's a lot to choose from. But there's the guy who has the best of both worlds. It's like night and day for him. Like in the daytime, he's going to be with a supermodel. And then at nighttime, he's going to be with some 300-pound woman. Now, there is a rule about that. In the job corporate world, what happens is you see a lot of these rich guys go to places that's middle class and low class environments because they cannot take out none of the women at their job because, you know, you don't want to lose your $45 million job because you're trying to take out a woman to lunch and dinner at your job. So a lot of these guys start to go to middle class and low class environments and hit on these types of females. That's when it's okay to date down and lower the expectations. Now, these guys want to have high expectations, but they don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to lose their money. So that's why they do that. A person who is at the bottom, and this is the rule about success. The guy who's getting all the ass right now, he's not making any money. The guy who's making all the money and is putting in all the hard work and dedication and he ain't getting no female attention, when it's all said and done, he gets all the women. You ever notice that? The guy who has all the fun in high school and college, when he gets in his 30s and 40s, he don't get no more female attention because he had all of the attention and all the fun when he was in high school and college. Now when he enters into his 30s and 40s, he don't get that attention no more. And the guy who got no attention in high school and college, he gonna get all that attention in his 30s, 40s, and some part of his 50s. It's called a peak. Everyone has a peak. Everyone has a period where they get the female attention. They take the women out to lunch and dinner. You know, you get to have sex with hot, attractive women. You have that period where it happens to you. It's like when you watch professional wrestling. Every wrestler has a period when they win a championship. They set a run where, okay, I've won 5 matches or I've won 7 matches. Basketball, you win 5 games, you win 10 games. You're on a 10-game winning streak. That happens when you get to the top. You can't have success and women at the same exact time. So the guys that are having all the women, whether you believe it or not, they're doing low-end dating. So if your friend brags to you on a cell phone or on a house phone or talks about it on Facebook or talks about it on Instagram or Twitter or in an email message and he bragging about how much sex he's had, ask yourself this one question. Are you having sex with fat women? Are you having sex with women old enough to be your mother and grandmother? Are you having sex with women that's low class and bragging about it? He may have fun now, but when he gets in his 30s and 40s, he's not going to get as much attention and as much fun as he's getting right now. Now, you may be struggling with women. You may be having a hard time with women. That's right now. What happens 5 years from now? What happens 10 years from now? You're going to go from having no fun to having more fun than you ever had in your entire life. And you see the guy who's laughing and bragging about it, when he gets to that stage where he's not having fun, he's not going to like you bragging about how much fun you have. It's like a nice way of saying laugh now but cry later. Now, what do you tell the people who try to tell you what to do when you have high expectations or low expectations? You tell them to kiss your ass. Because what this is about is people trying to control people's situation. They want to have power. They want to have control. And they want to tell people what they can do and what they can't do. And a lot of times, you have to be able to tell the people, look, if I want to date a supermodel, I'm going to date supermodels, fitness models, and actresses and cheerleaders. There's nothing you can do about it. High expectations. If you want to lower your expectations and you want to date women old enough to be your mother or grandmother, or you want to mess with a woman that's 200 pounds, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, there's nothing they can do about it. See, what this is about is people who have insecurity issues. Because when someone walk up to you and say, man, have high expectations of yourself, it's like what the rapper Jay-Z said, they want to characteristically live through you. That means they want you to put in all this hard work and dedication that they're never going to do. You do all the hard work